Looking at the toddler years, 12 to 30 months. So this is 1 to 2.5 years old, roughly. Again, being a role model diversity, inclusion through your words and actions. So if you're at the park and other children come up to you, allow them to join in your play with your child. No matter who they are. Obviously, this is a little tricky right now with COVID because you might be trying to keep away from people that you don't know. I totally understand that part, but let's pretend that we're not there. Go to parks and such that are not only in your own neighborhood, but in other neighborhoods and communities. So really trying to stretch yourself a little bit and think about where might we be able to go, where my child might be able to get some more exposure. We certainly don't want to um, go as a whole group of people who are white in a neighborhood that is predominantly black and trying like get a perception that we're trying to take over the park in any way. That wouldn't be the goal at all. But so don't go necessarily in a whole group because that might not feel good. But to just make sure that you are experiencing a lot of different places with your kiddos. um, and some books, reading books together, again, about including others, celebrating diversity and differences. During the infant years, the books are obviously far more about the images than the words. During the toddler years, the content of the books will definitely have more importance since they will begin to build their tolerance and interest in listening to books and being read to also. Just again, catching a little bit of feedback too. So just check your sound. Um, Allow for curiosity and questions. Children naturally are curious and notice differences. They often ask questions without inhibition. So you might be in a store and your 2-year-old might say, "Oh, why is his skin so black?" And it's probably going to have a response in us especially, well, I'm thinking like that might cause a bigger response in me because when I was a kid, my mom would have hushed that. She would have said, "Shh, you don't say something like that." But instead, respond with curiosity. I actually have a video clip that does a really good job of this in just a little bit. But to, instead of shushing the child, to talk about it with the child. You could even then take out your own hands and compare it to your child, even if your child was born through you. You may not have the exact same skin color, and you can look at that and compare that and say, yeah, our skin colors are all different. And isn't that wonderful? How boring life would be if we all looked exactly the same. And again, just thinking so much about when we silence a question or stop a discussion, they'll inadvertently learn that these differences might be bad. And so that's super important to keep in mind, no matter what the topic might be. So again, silencing equals negative value equals creating bias in children, because if they think, oh, mom told me to be quiet when I asked about that man's skin color, so that man's skin color must be bad, even though the child was probably just asking out of curiosity. And so then that makes the child think, all right, skin color, a dark brown skin color might be bad, and clearly that is not what we're going for. So we want to encourage that curiosity.